Today on the list, what to do when your children fight, the mystery behind ghost jobs, and how real estate changed this HGTV star's life.
6 days a week, 12 hours a day. I cold called expired listings and for sale by owners.
Plus, put together the perfect plate of soul food.
Oh my God. I'll take more of that, please.
But up first, what you need to know about surge pricing. It's your life, it's your list, and it starts right now.
Hey guys, I'm Christina Guerrero.
And I'm Jimmy Rhodes. And in an economy where inflation has become the norm, sticker shock is a pretty common thing.
Yeah, but surge pricing, when a business raises the cost of goods or services based on demand, can put mundane purchases and outings out of reach for so many of us.
But here's the upside. Understanding how it works can save you money on everything from entertainment to your electricity bill.
Zach Perry looks at the basics of surge pricing and how to turn it to your advantage. And that's our featured story at the top of the list.
From ride shares like Uber or Lyft to air travel, many of us have already experienced surge or dynamic pricing.
Surge pricing really just refers to a pricing strategy companies use to increase price during times of high demand.
Tech expert Andrew Lauder, CEO of Lauder Co., helps companies leverage tech to set prices, and he says that surge pricing is here to stay. But it isn't all bad news. He's starting us out by explaining how it works.
What's driving surge pricing these days is the uptick in artificial intelligence and other technologies that are becoming more and more prevalent in business.
Many of us have been shocked and angered when booking an Uber or Lyft in surge mode, but Andrew explains that if they didn't,
the demand would just overload the supply. So instead of waiting 15 minutes for a ride but paying 3 times more, now you're going to be waiting 3 hours for a ride.
Andrew explains we've been paying surge prices for years on airline and travel, but it's now becoming the norm for everything, from retail to toll roads and even bowling.
We're going to see more and more different areas, different industries, different sectors utilize surge pricing or dynamic pricing as a strategic mechanism. Retailers are starting to do it.
He points to furniture chain Nebraska Furniture Mart as one example.
All of their products have electronic scan codes, electronic SKUs, electronic pricing, and so they're constantly fluctuating the pricing, take the angle of helping the consumer, so they bring that price down, which is great.
Andrew says expect these electronic tags to pop up more and more. A leading manufacturer, Opticon World, explains how they work.
Basically what you have is a e-paper display. It is a wireless device and it updates the label with the latest information.
And don't be surprised when the mom and pops start using a dynamic pricing model. He says everything from florists to go-kart tracks are cashing in.
We're starting to see a lot of democratization of AI, a lot of AI and other technologies getting into the hands of smaller companies and individuals and be able to take advantage of some of these surge pricing dynamics.
Andrew wraps her list of surge pricing with ways to save. Amazon is a good example.
They do fluctuate their prices, sometimes to the benefit of consumers, sometimes not.
Andrew says you can experiment by putting items in your Amazon cart and waiting a few days. You will see prices move in both directions. With Uber and Lyft, Andrew says your best bet is to wait it out or walk a few blocks. For entertainment, having a plan is not optional.
Plan ahead, right? Don't plan your kid's birthday party at the bowling alley at 7 p.m. on a Friday, right? Maybe shoot for 1 p.m. on a Sunday. So you don't get gouged on that surge pricing.
Surviving the surge of dynamic pricing is at the top of the list.
If you've ever watched HGTV, you probably know Tariq AlMusa and his house flipping skills and eye for design. But there's a lot more to the real estate star than what you see on screen. We're looking at the obstacles he's overcome and how they've helped him build a stronger foundation.
Tariq AlMusa launched a real estate career in his 20s, but it wasn't easy.
I was so broke when I got started, I actually lived in my mom's garage.
Then came his first hit show, Flip or Flop, a couple of kids, a huge health scare, and a divorce.
You've led a very public life. You've been on TV now for how long?
I premiered on HGTV in April of 2013.
A decade later, he's flipping homes on a new show with his second wife, Heather. And they had a baby boy earlier this year. That's a big life, and Tariq learned some huge lessons along the way that may help you too. First, he says through hard work, dedication, and drive, anything is possible.
Talk about that very earliest stage of your journey where you really didn't have the resources you have now, but you made it happen.
6 days a week, 12 hours a day. I cold called expired listings and for sale by owners, and at the end of that 90 days, I had earned about $120,000 in real estate commissions.
Wow.
At 20 years old, I learned that if you are willing to put in the work and you're willing to pick up that phone and you're willing to talk to people, you can make anything happen.
Inspired to pursue a TV show, he and his ex-wife sent this home video to a production company more than a decade ago to land their first show.
Hi, my name is Tariq AlMusa.
And I'm Tariq AlMusa.
We got a pilot, and then HGTV sends a contract giving me and my ex-wife our own TV show to do 13 houses in 10 months. Very exciting, right?
Wow, that's very exciting and challenging, though.
Tariq didn't have the money or experience, but he made it work.
I worked my butt off until I made it happen.
Yeah.
So I learned through hard work, dedication, motivation, and drive, anything is possible.
Next, he says, stay positive through life's challenges.
One of my fans was a nurse out of Texas, was watching my show Flip or Flop, and noticed I had a lump on my neck. Turns out it was thyroid cancer.
Tests revealed more bad news.
Found out I also had testicular cancer, and it wasn't the same cancer, it was two totally different cancers.
He was a young father who had a family to take care of.
I kept my head up, I stayed positive, and I pushed through. I filmed through all my cancers. And I think it was a really good distraction for me too during that time, because I was just so busy and so focused that I wasn't obsessing about the fact that I had two different cancers.
He eventually beat those cancers. Finally, Tariq says that just like homes, we can also flip our lives.
A house, doesn't matter how old it is, doesn't matter how beat up it is, doesn't matter how nasty it is, it can always come back, right?
Yeah.
And people, same thing. Today, I'm the happiest and healthiest I've ever been, right? So like a house, people, we can flip our lives too. So I'm a big believer in that.
Flipping 101 is on HGTV and is streaming on Discovery Plus.
So new beginnings, our new home at the beach. Cheers, everybody. Yay.
Flipping houses and our mindsets with Tariq AlMusa.
Kids are great. Really, I swear. But if you have more than one of them, especially at home during summer break, expect things to get loud. All right, to keep the quarreling to a minimum, Teresa Strasser looks at how to deal with sibling rivalry and turn your kids from enemies into allies.
Having a child can be a poetic, meaningful, extraordinary experience. But raising them, especially during the summer months, well, that's where things can get turbulent.
They're out of their routine where they have to go to school, there's no structure, so it's hard.
For tips to keep their daily care from pushing you into assisted living, we have some tips to prevent sibling rivalry from Sapna Rad, author of Yelling to Zenning. For starters, go from meddler to mediator.
You know, it's human basic instinct. If two people, we rush to protect the one who we think is much more weaker. So we might say, stop fighting, and we might run towards the one who's younger.
But
we forget the older sibling might be 5 years, 6 years, 10 years. They're still young. But somehow we portray them to be elder, so they should know better.
Instead, don't take sides.
If they don't feel understood or heard, they're going to repeat the pattern.
So walk the line of listening to their concerns.
Suddenly they want to help you, no matter how small.
Then set boundaries.
I have this 1 hour of meeting, then mommy and daddy is going to be with you.
Next, go from repair to rapport.
Fighting itself, it's a trigger for everybody. We don't like conflict as human beings. We like everything to go smoothly.
And when it comes to conflict with your kids,
that becomes a reflection of who we are. My child is becoming a bully. If we are triggered, we will try to fix the child so we don't feel bad about ourselves as a parent.
This creates a pattern with your kids.
So every time we have to get them to listen, we have to raise our voice.
Then your kids will only listen once you're upset.
You don't have to repeat those patterns. You can walk up to them and say, hey, go to your room, both of you. I'll get back to you in 10 minutes.
Then
you have so many choices. When you take the pause between your emotions, your trigger, and your reaction.
Finally, go from correction to curiosity.
Correction is trying to punish them. Timeouts, you go sit in that corner because we panic as parents.
Instead, be curious about the cause of their behavior.
Why is my child at the moment feeling like they are lacking power? Are they hungry? Are they coming from a lack of a need? Do they need a hug? Do they feel like they don't have autonomy?
When you go underneath that behavior and fill that need,
The symptomatic behaviors disappear.
techniques to build teamwork among siblings.
Still to come on the list, why soul food is all about family.
We have parents from the South, parents from the Caribbean, parents from Jamaica.
Plus, how chemo patients are reclaiming their confidence.
Oh my gosh. This has made me feel so special.
And
maybe we find a highway, change our luck.
The unconventional crime series inspired by a meme.
So he basically tries to get out of trouble by creating more trouble.
All that and more ahead on the list.
Hey friends, welcome back. You know, one place to start if you want to learn about different cultures, learn about their food.
And today we're celebrating the rich history of the African American community through soul food.
That's right. We met a couple who puts their own twist on it. And Jimmy, they invited me to learn about their family and their history through their recipes. And I gotta say, it was delicious.
This delicious dish was whipped up here at the Rima Soul Cuisine food truck in Santan Valley, Arizona.
Alrighty, sir. I need a plate of your best soul food.
Try that brisket out for size.
Oh my God. I'll take more of that, please.
Coming right up.
Since moving from New York to Arizona, Ron and Via Child's food has earned lots of accolades, like a spot on Yelp's list of top 50 barbecue.
We just took what we know, what we've done, and just
what we
continued
love.
it and made it with love and brought it out this way.
This is our art to the world.
If you've never tried soul food, here's the scoop. The term soul, related to gospel, became widely used in the 60s to describe music and food celebrating African American culture and its contributions to America.
What do you guys love about soul food?
It's something about Sunday dinner. The best cooks in the family are actually going against each other because I know my mac and cheese is better than your sweet potatoes, and my ribs are gonna outdo your chicken. And it's just all love, laughter, and light. It's amazing. So soul food for us is really about family.
It's bonding and bringing us together.
Yeah.
Ron and Via have been married 32 years. They have 3 grown children and now grandchildren. Their recipes stem from their family legacy.
We have parents from the South, parents from the Caribbean, parents from Jamaica.
Wow.
We just picked and choose what worked best for us as far as adding our signature to Rima Soul Cuisine.
The Caribbean red rice is my mom's recipe, and I've never told her this, oh my God, her rice.
Don't compare.
I'm not comparing.
It's
I'm not comparing. I'm not comparing.
Don't do
I'm not
it.
comparing.
I just put my own twist.
So we're gonna leave, okay, thank you for the help. We'll leave it there.
Finally, the fun part, getting to taste their mouth-watering soul cuisine.
What do you recommend I go in with first?
Let's go with the mac and cheese towards the back where the burnt area is.
It has 7 cheeses like mozzarella, cheddars, and provolone.
And it's okay to eat soul food sloppy, actually.
I'm gonna have to eat this
You're gonna
sloppy.
have to eat it sloppy.
Oh my gosh, this is delicious.
Now the collard greens, the traditional version contains pork, but Via uses turkey instead. Now Ron's signature ribs with homemade sauce.
That is our magical sauce, which is our sweet sauce, which is our raspberry chipotle sauce. And then we have our Jamaican heat, which is the spicy sauce mixed together, and it's called magical.
I will tell you what, my soul is full.
We've done our job.
We might need to call an Uber.
Do not operate heavy machinery
No.
after you eat this meal. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Soul food, lifting your spirit and filling your belly.
There's no doubt that people who go out of their way to help others are pretty special. These stories highlight just a few of them and show kindness always wins. We begin with a group of henna artists who use their creativity to empower women and children battling cancer.
We do henna adornments on their heads after they lose their hair to chemotherapy.
Amanda Joy Gilbert is the founder of Henna Crowns of Courage, a Grand Rapids, Michigan-based nonprofit where artists create beautiful custom designs for patients across the country.
And I love to incorporate makeup artists, photographers, videographers to share their story.
Oh my gosh. Something like this has made me feel so special and has just made my confidence a million times boosted today.
Their goal is to reach at least 1,000 people in the next 24 months. Learn more at hennacrownsofcourage.org. Such beautiful and meaningful work. Moving on to a 16-year-old in Phoenix, Arizona, who's taking big steps to reduce food waste in her community.
It took a lot of canvassing and me physically walking around my neighborhood with buckets in hands and flyers being like, join my composting service, it's free.
Abigail Pearson started a curbside composting program in late 2021. It encourages neighbors to, instead of throwing away food scraps, deposit them in assigned buckets that will then get emptied at a nearby community garden.
I pick it up once a week and drop it off at the garden, and then the cycle repeats. 1,300
gallons of organic material have been recycled so far. Incredible work to show our planet some love. And we wrap it up with an event in Milwaukee, Wisconsin that raises funds to make sure every teen gets to go to prom.
It's a teen fashion show, right? Where teens are helping to send other teens to prom.
The Fash Up Fashion Show was co-founded in 2019 by Heather Perkins from the nonprofit Ignite Change, alongside Jamila Love, who pulled from her own experience growing up in the foster care system.
I almost didn't get the chance to go, so I just wanted to help other kids get that chance.
You kind of see it on their face, and it's pride, it's dignity, it's beautiful.
Profits from the event and silent auctions have helped over 150 students attend prom cost-free. To learn more, visit fashup.org. And those are 3 stories that prove kindness wins. Lots more coming up on the list. Stay with us.
Hey guys, welcome back. Today on the watch list, we are heading south to the Sunshine State to learn about a new Netflix series with a really intriguing name, right? Zach Perry's talking to the cast of Florida Man.
A Florida man found out the hard way when the hunter became the hunted.
We've all read a news headline or seen social media memes about the infamous Florida Man.
You're from there?
Yes, and I'm going back.
Now, Netflix has created a new series based on the stereotype of comical and not always law-abiding Floridians.
I have to go to Florida.
Why?
So I can leave Florida.
We sat down with stars of Florida Man, Edgar Ramirez and Abby Lee, who play Mike Valentine and Deli West, to give us some insight on the new Netflix series. Starting with trying to avoid the Florida Man persona.
Mike Valentine does not want to be the Florida Man.
It's about Deli. What about her?
Similar to Deli, she's actually trying to untangle herself from people, and all she ends up doing is messing things up more.
Exactly.
The two said they found inspiration from classic cartoons.
Strangely, my inspiration ended up being Bugs Bunny.
What's up, Jack?
She's just so much smarter than everybody. She outcons everybody in the show, but she just has so much fun doing it.
We're talking about $100 million.
I love to hear that story because then it makes me think my inspiration could have been the coyote. He just contributes to his own undoing and to his demise by denying how much of a Florida man he is. The more he becomes one.
I'm tracking down this woman. My employer is concerned for the woman's safety.
Well, so am I.
Next, Edgar says to expect a shady mission in the Sunshine State.
Hello?
She's gone.
I need you to go and get her.
Where did she go?
Florida.
The more he wants to escape, you know, the ghosts of his past, the quicker they come back to haunt him. So he basically tries to get out of trouble by creating more trouble.
I bring her back, I walk away clean forever. My entire debt.
Fine.
This woman you're looking for, she want to be found?
No.
Criminal type?
Criminal adjacent.
I think it's fun, it's sexy, it's dark, it's funny, it's dangerous.
Aren't you glad to see me, Mike?
The cast says it's the show's crazy characters that drive the wild twists and turns of the storyline.
The things that you discover, the way that these characters have entangled themselves in each other just gets more and more absurd and more funny and more dramatic.
You don't bring your trouble into my neighborhood.
See you later, alligator. We're taking a bite of all things Florida Man on the watch list. We'll be right back.
Hey friends, welcome back. It's time for What's Last on our list. And Jimmy, hey, I saw this headline on Mashable, all right? Ghost jobs are increasingly wasting job seekers' time. And look at the subtitle there. Are you applying for something that doesn't exist.
Okay, what does that mean? Doesn't exist?
Exactly. An online survey asked hiring managers about job postings that were left online for months at a time, and there were several explanations.
I want to hear this. Hit me.
Okay. Some companies really do have standing openings that they can hire anytime a good applicant comes along, right?
Okay, I've seen those signs, like
Right.
we're always hiring.
Exactly. But some posts are for jobs that don't exist. Of the managers who had posted these so-called ghost jobs, 43% said it's to give the impression that their company is growing.
What?
Another 43% said it's to keep current employees motivated.
Okay, yeah, like you're easily replaced. Get to work.
Exactly. And 34% said they kept posts up to appease overworked employees by giving them the impression that they're trying to bring in help.
Sure, but with no intention of actually hiring anyone. That is awful.
Exactly. So if you applied for a job and maybe you never heard anything, don't feel so bad. It may have never really existed.
All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start applying for jobs using a fake name and a fake address just to get even.
Yeah, that'll show them, Jimmy.
Darn right.
Darn tootin'. And that's what's last on our list. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Tomorrow on the list, get comfy and see what's trending around the house.
This should be living in your house.
In the kitchen.
Be one with a knife. Be one with a knife.
Yes.
In your closet.
Hang your clothes according to length.
And even on your walls.
It's bold and graphic and really makes a statement.
We're staying around the house tomorrow on the list.